Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. It's Tuesday. Time to talk about some new releases coming out this Friday, December 20th. I can't believe we're already at the end of the year. It's kind of a light week. A little over 200 albums coming out this week. I got 8 on my list for today. There's a bunch of links down below. You got links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist that I put together every week, and the Patreon page. So make sure you check all that out. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. Like I said in the intro, a little over 200 albums coming out this week, so it's kind of a light week, but as we get closer to the end of the year, it's typically how it works. Once the beginning of the year kicks up, there'll be a whole bunch of releases coming out. We got all the Rhino Start Your Year Off Right stuff that's coming out in January, but next couple of weeks will be kind of light. I got 8 albums to talk about today. If there's something I don't talk about on the show today, make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to grabbing. And like always, if you're unable to find these in your local brick and mortar stores, they should all be available online. I'll put links down below in the comment section. So I think there's only one big anniversary release that was coming out this week, and that is John Legend Get Lifted. Came out back in 2004. It was his debut studio album. It's on 2 LPs, 20th anniversary release. It's going to run you about $38. This is the album that kicked off John Legend's incredible career. To hit number 4 on the Billboard 200, sold several million copies. It was huge. He won 3 Grammys off this album. I think he won Best New Artist after this album was released also. But I didn't realize this till probably not too long ago. But this album was actually produced by Kanye West, he produced this the same year that he released College Dropout. So a lot of great stuff that Kanye did that year. I know Kanye is kind of a polarizing figure, but it's a fantastic album. This is my favorite album from John Legend. And this is actually released in December of 2004, so it really kind of kicked off and really got big in 2005. It actually ended the end of the year in 2005 on a lot of those best of lists that you always see at the end of every year. So if you're unfamiliar with the album, it's definitely one worth at least streaming and checking out. You also got Beast of Horns by They Might Be Giants coming out. So this is actually released earlier this year. This was a fan club only release. So this is a compilation of live tracks in 2022, 2023. It's going to run you about $30. So like I said, this is a fan club only release. Then it got a wider release. I think this is a reissue of that wider release. There's 13 tracks across one LP. It's on a translucent red vinyl. All these songs feature the Triceratops horns, which joined, I think it was 2022 when they started touring with the band, which makes sense because these are all tracks from 22 and 23. I don't think I've listened to any of their live material in a very, very long time. So there's another one I'll stream and check out this week. There's also Meat Puppets Live in Montana coming out this week. This was released back in 1999, so this is a RSD 2024 reissue. So when this came out for RSD, it was on, I think it was opaque blue vinyl. This looks like it's just a standard black release that's coming out this week. It's going to run you about $26. All these tracks were recorded December 7th and 8th, 1988. I think it's 13 tracks on here, all taken off their first 5 albums, and really showed how the Meat Puppets evolved over the course of the 80s. Until RSD, it had never been available on vinyl before. And it was super limited. I think it was 2,000 copies or 1,500 copies, I think, that were released for RSD. It's got many of the band's best known tracks on here. If you're unfamiliar with the Meat Puppets, it's a cool one to check out. I've streamed it a couple of times. I think I do prefer some of the studio versions over the live material that's on here, but just keep that in mind. That's coming out this week. This next release is one I haven't heard. I feel like earlier this year when this was announced, I heard a lot about it, but I don't think I've heard really anything since then. This is Slaughter, Stick It To Ya. This came out back in 1990. It was their debut studio album. This is, I think this is on black vinyl. It's coming out this week also. I didn't see any listing for what color it is. It's going to run you about $27. This album hadn't been available in a really long time. It was released in 1990, but it was never reissued until 2020. And when they repressed it in 2020, they repressed I think it was a gold version and a red version. Super limited. They're both like 500 copies. They're hard to find. They sold out pretty quick. And then they reissued the red version in 2022, which I'm assuming they pressed a lot more than 500 copies because it's still available. You can grab a copy on Discogs, but it's going to run you like $50 or $60. So, grabbing, $26, $27 is definitely a lot better of a price, I think, for the album. But by 1990, I think really like 88, 89 into 90, rock music was starting to change. It hadn't really kind of broken away from that hair metal sound. And I think I automatically lump Slaughter in with all those other hair metal bands because I kind of stopped listening to a lot of that by 1990, and it was years before I even listened to this album, and kind of going back through. I kind of wish I would listen to it when it came out, because it's a really good album. I think this is one of those examples where, had this been released, I think in 88 or 89, it would have been an even bigger album than it ended up being. So I guess I was wrong. There is one more anniversary release coming out this week. That's Tom Waits' The Heart of Saturday Night. Came out back in 74. It was his second studio album. It's going to be on Raspberry vinyl. Of course, 50th anniversary release. It's going to run you about $27. This is one of the more unique albums of the 70s. And this is one that it took me a very long time to appreciate how good this album is. And I don't think it was until after Rolling Stone magazine did their, I think it was the top 500 albums of all time that they released several years ago. I think that's when I started going through that list, and I was like, oh yeah, I never actually listened to this. So I sat down, streamed it, listened to it. It is really good. It's probably one I'm going to grab this week because I don't have a copy of it. It's one that it took me a couple of listens to really fall in love with some of the songs on here, because it's just that unique. And originally, I think this was supposed to come out a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure why there was a delay to this week. I think it's limited to 37 or 3,800 copies. Like I said, $27. I probably will grab a copy of that one. Then you've also got Helloween Live at Budokan coming out. This is a new 3 LP live album. It's going to run you $112. There's multiple versions of this coming out, though. I know there's a CD version of it. You got this vinyl version. There's also a DVD and Blu-ray versions that are coming out also. The DVD and Blu-ray versions have the entire 2.5 hour plus concert on there, where I think the vinyl and CD version is just portions or large portions of that show. And Helloween is releasing this to celebrate the finale of their world tour from 2022 and 2023. I think they went to like 30 different countries. It was a huge tour. For Helloween not being a really huge band, it was a really big tour. So this is kind of celebrating, like I said, kind of wrapping up that tour. And this is another release that seems like it's kind of all over the place. I thought this was originally supposed to be released last week, and then now it's listed for this week. And then there's an orange version of this that they have now as I think a late January release date for that one. So it looks like this one's coming out this week, though, I think. Then I'll round out the show today with 2 incredible jazz albums. The first one is Thelonious Monk, Brilliant Corners. Came out back in 1957. It's going to run about $27. It's on yellow vinyl, and I don't know why. Even as someone, as someone that loves colored albums, I don't know why I don't like jazz music on colored records. I think it's because when I think of jazz music, I think of this like old smoky club, and maybe the yellow vinyl, or I've seen them released on blue vinyl before also. I think maybe it takes away from some of that image I have in my head. I don't know. It's something stupid. I'm sure it just bothers me. I'm sure no one else out there really pays attention to it. But this is an album that, this is one of the most significant jazz albums in music history. It was inducted in the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999. It's put on the National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress in 2003. It's an album that, if you're looking to get into jazz music, or if you never listened to Thelonious Monk, it's a good one to stream and check out. He's got Ernie Henry on here. There's Clark Terry, Paul Chambers, Max Roach, which Max, is one of the greatest jazz drummers of all time. I absolutely love this album. I think I've got a pressing of this. I think it's like I think I've got like a 60s pressing of this, though, if I'm just thinking off the top of my head. It might be late 60s, early 70s, but if this wasn't on yellow vinyl, I'd probably grab a copy of it, but I don't know. I still might grab it. Like I said, I just love that album that much, but we'll see about that one. Then you've also got Thelonious Monk and Sonny Rollins coming out. This came out back in 1956. It's also $27. It was also released on yellow vinyl. This album was actually released 2 years prior. Back in 1954, it was released as a 10-inch, and then they split the album up. Half became this album, then half of that became Moving Out by Sonny Rollins. It was recorded over 3 sessions in 1953 and 1954. This album has actually been released a couple of other times under different names. So Prestige released it in 59 as Work. Then it was also released in 67 as The Genius of Thelonious Monk, but it was released with a completely different album cover. So I don't think it's as good as the other Monk album that's coming out this week, but I think it's definitely some of the best work that both of those artists ever did. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to grabbing this week. I'm probably going to grab that John Legend. I don't have anything on pre-order yet, but I'll probably grab that John Legend. I'll probably grab that Tom Waits. I'll probably grab that Slaughter. I'm up in the air on those jazz releases. Like I said, I don't know what it is. It's just jazz music on colored vinyl. It's just weird to me. It's something stupid. Like I said, I'm probably the only person out there that's ever thought of it like that. But Let me know what you guys think. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.